Because see, often when we're asking for acceptance and belonging in others, what we really need is acceptance and belonging in ourselves. I needed to tell myself that no matter what, I would still love and accept myself. Hello, welcome to the Business of Happiness podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Tarryn MacCarthy, and today is going to be such a spectacular day. I'm here to remind you that when you aren't taking action on your dreams, there's only one thing holding you back, and that is fear. I know that hits you like a ton of bricks, and if it does, maybe this is an opportunity for you to ask yourself some questions, because the truth is that each one of us has the capability of living the life of our dreams. In fact, the reality of the life that you're living right now is completely within your power. Isn't that interesting? You know, I'll tell you, a couple years ago, I was practicing full-time as an orthodontist, and I was really enjoying the incredible conversations I was having on this podcast with those guest experts that I welcomed to really ask them, what is happiness all about? And as I was getting to understand and learn more, I started studying more, and I started reaching back into my degree in psychology. I started getting certifications in coaching, in neuro-linguistic programming, in hypnotherapy, and in cognitive behavioral therapy. And as I started discovering and uncovering more about my own brain, my own mind, how we find power, empowerment within ourselves, how we find perspective, how we regain agency over our own actions. It was so exciting. I felt like I just aligned with what I was always meant to do. And at the time, I was working with a phenomenal coach. And my coach said to me, Tarryn, you should be coaching. And the idea of coaching other professionals was so exciting to me. And so I started actually coaching him. I started coaching my coach. He was asking me for some support and advice in certain arenas in his life. And I started coaching some friends. And the next thing I knew, I was coaching several incredible physicians and dentists, and hadn't yet claimed that as my new path and passion and profession. And I kept dreaming of it. I kept saying, I want to officially create a coaching business. I was doing so much on the podcast. I was doing so much for my incredible friends and colleagues, but I hadn't yet claimed that as my identity. And I kept longing for it. I kept chasing further certifications. I kept looking for more validation of my worth as a coach. And it's so interesting because I was dreaming of becoming a coach, and looking back now, I already was one. But what holds us back from actually taking that step, that leap of faith into a lived reality that is our dream? What is it that holds us back from claiming what is ours? And really what it always comes down to is fear. And fear is such a fascinating concept, because fear can result in us actually sabotaging ourselves. Fear really is trying to just keep us safe, keep us sane. Fear doesn't want any change to the equilibrium. And yet, when we stay in a comfort zone for so long, we don't experience the thrill and excitement of life. That's when we start feeling, man, this feels ho-hum. This feels humdrum. Every day feels the same. We start losing our passion and excitement for new adventures. And there's always this little whisper in the back of your mind, or maybe in the center of your soul, saying, there's so much more for me. If we keep deafening to that silent whisper, or if we keep pushing that little voice down, we find ourselves frustrated, or maybe even resentful of the people and events around us, things that are in our perception holding us back from achieving our dreams. I don't know if that at all resonates with you, but I know I've done that. I started looking for blame because when we're in fear, as we've talked about in recent episodes, we go immediately to the sympathetic nervous system state of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And when we're in fear and fight comes along, that looks like blame. So we start blaming the world around us. We start blaming the economy. We start blaming the situation. And I certainly did. I started blaming all kinds of things. But really what was at the crux of my inaction to stepping forward into coaching in its full right and making that announcement to myself and to the world years and years ago was a fear. The other way fear shows up is fleeing, right? We just say, okay, forget that. It'll never happen. It's not available and it'll never happen. And we start distracting ourselves with other pursuits. Or we freeze, we become frozen in the moment, and we just don't take action. We just keep pushing through and persevering. We just ignore that little voice, that whisper inside of ourselves. Or sometimes we fawn. We beg others to provide us with the validation and the love and connection that we so desperately need. So we start asking friends or family members or colleagues to join us in our pity party, or to join us in this unlived dream, to help feel sorry for us, to give us some recognition, some support. But really, the secret answer lies in understanding that fear. When we look back and we say, wow, this is something I've wanted to do for a long time. Why am I not taking action on it? And maybe for you, that looks like writing a novel. Or maybe for you, it looks like actually taking care of your body for the first time in a long time. Or maybe for you, it looks like getting back in the dating pool, but you've just dragged your heels for years. And this is where we start to ask ourselves, what is the message underlying the fear that is holding me back? Because the truth is, at any moment in time, we can do anything we want to. I mean, really. The world really is available to us at any point in time. The only thing that holds us back is ourselves. So there are 4 basic fears that all of our fears come down to. If we start asking ourselves the questions, the right questions, to uncover the fear that's holding us back from taking action on our dreams, from taking action on our happiness, we start to discover that there really are 4 basic human fears that prevent us from doing anything that makes us feel good. Right? I'm not talking about holding yourself back from hurting yourself. I'm talking about a fear or an ingrained limiting belief that holds you back from taking action on what you want. Those 4 basic fears are, number 1, fear for your safety or your life. And that seems so crazy, right? Because actually coming and saying, I really want to be a life coach to dental and medical healthcare professionals, that doesn't seem like it's risking my life. But sometimes we tell ourselves it is. Maybe in the past, you've taken action outside your comfort zone, and it really did mean life or death. Maybe it really did risk for you your ability to make money. Maybe that fear of not being able to create the same kind of wealth in your current profession or in your current pursuits, the fear of not changing anything literally feels like life or death. And when we uncover that fear, we start to realize where we can work, where we can apply the much needed salve of compassion and reassurance. You are not going to die. Everything's going to be just okay. Look at the reserve in your bank account. Look at all the brilliance that you've created over your lifetime. Look at the businesses you have grown. You will figure it out. But we need to first uncover what the fear is. Hey guys, I'm interrupting your podcast episode to let you know about an incredible new program that I'm launching in January of 2023. It is specifically for practitioners in medicine and dentistry to help you rediscover happiness and inner fulfillment within your profession and your life. I remember what it was like for me when years ago I was so depressed and anxious and feeling like I had created and built a treadmill I just couldn't get off of, pushing through every day and wishing my life away. This program is the how of how to find happiness in your practice and in your life, because we know that when we feel good, that's when we can do good. Check out thebizofhappiness.com/radical happiness, or click the link in the show notes. I cannot wait to see you there. Second, very common fear is fear of not being good enough. Oh, and this one has definitely impacted me in my life. Even if you are an incredible dentist or doctor, even if you've graduated with a medical or dental degree, you might still feel like you're not good enough. And sometimes it doesn't matter how much evidence other people give us, or even accolades or gratitude from our own patients, from our colleagues' recognition, doesn't matter how much we receive, but sometimes that underlying fear stays with us and prevents us from taking action on our dreams. Maybe that looks like speaking on the dental circuit, or applying for a residency program, or just as small as showing up authentically as yourself to work and not feeling like you have to put on the pretense or a persona of someone else. Maybe your dreams are just showing up as you. The third fear that is very common is that success is not available to me. There's something wrong with me, and healing, success, abundance, happiness is not available to me. I had a conversation with an incredibly hardworking dentist the other day. She is doing so much for her community. She is doing so much for her 4 children. She is working and working and working and burning the candle at both ends. She is exhausted. And when I said to her, "What would happiness look like to you?" she said, "You know what? I don't think I can be happy. I don't think it's possible for me to ever be happy. I think this is who I am. I think this is how I grew up, and I don't think anything I do can change it. I'm destined to be unhappy." My heart broke for her, because that fear of happiness or success not being available to me is a common human fear and limiting belief. But the beauty of it is, once we can uncover that fear and recognize it as the limitation of our being able to take action on our dreams, now we have something to work with. The fourth fear that holds us back is the fear of not being loved or accepted. And this is exactly where my fears stood in my way before I listened to the intelligence and the knowledge in that pain. For me, I just felt like people wouldn't accept me as a coach. They knew me as an incredible orthodontist, but would they accept me as a coach? Would my friends still accept me and want to hang out with me if my new title was coach as opposed to orthodontist? To me, that acceptance meant so much. Being valued and appreciated by our community held such a big need in my heart. But when I was able to see that as my fear, now I could start addressing it with myself. I could start giving myself the evidence that was all around me all along. All the incredible testimonials from my clients, the transformations of my clients, the gratitude I was getting on a daily basis from the men and women who were working with me. I just needed to know where to look. I just needed to know where to put my focus and attention. And then I needed to give myself that permission because, see, often when we're asking for acceptance and belonging in others, what we really need is acceptance and belonging in ourselves. I needed to tell myself that no matter what, I would still love and accept myself, even if I failed. Because that's what that little inner child inside of me wanted to know. Tarryn, if you go out there, you make this big statement and you fall flat on your face, will you still love me? And I had to reassure that inner child that I would. See, taking action on our dreams is sometimes so much more understanding and learning about ourselves. When we haven't allowed ourselves to step into that beautiful new choice, that beautiful new decision, that beautiful new permission to take action on our dreams, we need to understand what's lying underneath and preventing us, what that fear is, and not just push through it. See, that's a lot of the news that we get in personal development is close your eyes and just do it anyway. Do it scared. And I say, rather take the fear along with you for the learning. Take the fear along with you to offer compassion and love. Because when we do that, we create safety. And when we create safety, now we can take action. Look, we're willing to do anything as long as it feels safe. Right? If someone said, jump out of this airplane and here's the safety and you have a parachute and you have a soft landing and you're going to love the ride and you'll never hurt yourself and I'm going to be right here if you need me, then why wouldn't you? Right? If you felt completely safe, why wouldn't you take the leap? The question is, where is the fear that's holding you back from taking action with full confidence of your safety, with full confidence of your worthiness, with full confidence of your acceptance and your love? Imagine being able to set your sights on a dream or on a goal and having so much self-confidence and knowledge within you of your worthiness of that goal, of that dream, having so much excitement for it that every day felt like a day of joy and adventure, that every day felt like a new opportunity for new self-discovery, for play, for learning, for adventure. I mean, that's what life should be. One of the things that we need to do is to learn how to love that fear along the way, because fear will always be there. There will never be a time in our lives where we are fearless. Fearlessness is not a thing. This is one of the things that we talk about in Radical Happiness for Practitioners. Just today's episode, we've identified recognizing what the fear is that's holding you back. So wonderful. I mean, just the awareness of what's holding you back is so important. Identifying what that is a huge step forward. In Radical Happiness for Practitioners, what we do next is we learn how to dance with that fear, how to create that safety I was talking about, how to uncover those subconscious beliefs that are feeding the fear, and how to speak to those subconscious beliefs to deeper understand them and then to shift them in an empowering way. Today is the last day, my friends, of registration for Radical Happiness for Practitioners. It is May 20th, and I am welcoming you into the program. If taking action on your dreams has been something you have had trouble with, if you've thought, I wish I could just do something different, or I wish I could show up differently, or I wish I could feel differently, I wish my life were different. I've done all these incredible things. I've accomplished so much, but there's something missing. But year after year, you hear yourself say the same thing. Then join us in Radical Happiness for Practitioners. I'd be honored to have you there. Today's the last day for registration, and we are waiting for you. Imagine that the summer of 2023 is when you finally took action on your dreams. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and thank you for having the courage to ask yourself these challenging questions. Thank you for caring enough about your own happiness. Thank you for caring enough about the incredible work you do every day caring for your patients. And thank you for caring enough about the relationships in your life to warrant you taking care of you and recognizing that when you feel good, that's when you can do good. Check out in the show notes the link to Radical Happiness for Practitioners, or if you're driving, check out www.thebizofhappiness.com/radical happiness, and I'll see you there.